Hey you guys, the Doc is Hope here and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well and having a great week so far. So today we're going to do a pattern review. This is going to be McCall's 8140 and I have everything you need to know about this pattern. So let's get into everything you need to know. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up down below, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that. Hit that subscribe button so we can continue to hang out together and you guys can continue to catch these fun videos once a week. All right, you guys, well, without further ado, let's get into this pattern review. All right, you guys, so let's get right into it. We're going to go over everything from fabric suggestions to notions to the cutting layout to line drawings and little tips and tricks that the pattern does not mention that you will want to know if you're sewing up this pattern. So this is McCall's 8140, which is here. This really cute blazer dress, and I actually sewed up view B, which is here. Love view A as well, but I sewed up view B, and I'll show that to you guys later on my mannequin and also on me because it looks different. But let's talk about this pattern. It has 13 pieces. This is a Mrs. dress and belt if you make the belted option. This pattern, your suggested fabrics are your crepes, your wool blends, your brocade, your jacquard, and then you will need lining fabrics. I use a black satin for my lining, and for your notions you will need 7 snaps for view A, and then if you're sewing up B and C you will need 7 3/4 inch buttons. So I again made up dress B in a 16, and I required 2 3/4 yards of fabric. So you're going to need anywhere from 2 3/4 to 3 3/8 yards of fabric if you're sewing up in a 16 like I did. And you will need about 2 5/8 yards of lining. So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and look into our line drawings here. So here they are for this pattern. View A is like a shorter puffy sleeved blazer dress with a tie at the front. View B is the one I made, which has a long sleeve and buttons. And then view C is the same as B, except for that sleeve is gathered at the shoulder. And then this is the back for all three. All right, so let's talk about some things that you want to know about this pattern. You also have your cutting layout. Let's go over that. For view B, I actually used the first cutting layout. Even though I sewed up a size 16, sometimes I don't use the suggested cutting layout for the size if it fits on the fabric. Sometimes they're easier. I actually used the 45-inch width option for sizes 6 through 12, even though I sewed up a 16, and it worked for me. I had enough fabric to do it. So this is your cutting layout. You have all of your pieces laid out on your fabric, folded in half, right sides facing, selvages up, and you're cutting out pieces 1 2 3 4 10 2 let's see, and 8. And then you're going to open up your fabric on the right side and place pieces 12 and 5 on the right side and cut out one of each of those. That's going to be your upper and your under collar. So that is your cutting layout. Pretty straightforward in my opinion. The directions for this pattern were pretty good. You also needed your interfacing cut out, which is here. So you're cutting out piece 10 twice and then 12 and 5 on interfacing. So keep that in mind as well. So there are actually 57 steps to this blazer dress. Some of them you won't need depending on which view you're making up, but this took me a few days. a few sewing days to finish up, just because of all the intricacies and details, your lining, you know, all the things, the slip stitching involved. It did take a little while for me to finish this up. You will be slip stitching your hem at the bottom. I hand sew on my buttons, so you know you got 7 buttons to hand sew and 7 buttonholes if that's your thing. So I think it was worth it at the end for the time that I put in to get this blazer dress. I've been wanting a blazer dress for a while, and now I finally have one. When I finished sewing my sleeves onto my bodice, my blazer bodice, I actually put a sleeve heading in there. I didn't use shoulder pads, but I just put a sleeve heading in there just to make my shoulders stay structured and not collapse on me. That's not in the directions, but that's something that you might consider doing if you don't want your shoulders to collapse. But I found that very helpful. I actually did that before I added my lining in. So on my regular fabric, I just stitched in that sleeve heading. So that's something you might want to know. So one other thing I wanted to mention to you guys is how important step number 35 is in this pattern and all patterns that involve any type of lapel or collar action. So this is actually the step where you're pinning the upper collar to the neck edge. But y'all, when they tell you to stitch and pivot, pivot. Don't go past the dot. Don't do too much. Pivot right there at that dot, because if you don't, you're gonna have a jacked up collar and a jacked up lapel. So like literally right here, this is what I'm talking about. This part right here, when you stitch, make sure you pivot right at that dot. And that's gonna make sure that your collar and your lapel are nice and crisp and nice and structured like it needs to be. No twisting, no bumping, no lumping. So slow down on that part, take your time. If you need to do it again to get it right, do it again. I think I seen rip mine out once and did it again just because I wasn't quite happy with how it turned out. So definitely something that you need to know. I would give this pattern, I'd say I'd give it a B+. I really wanted a double-breasted blazer dress, and there aren't many blazer dress patterns out there that I could find. At least if you know of some, tell me about them down in the comments down below, even if they're like indie patterns, just because I love blazer dresses and I really want like a double-breasted one. So tell me down in the comments if you know of any, but this is just like a single-breasted blazer dress, which I still think is very cute. I still love it, but that's the only reason I would give it a B+, just because, you know, I feel like it could have been better. It could have had some pockets or something like that. So now I'm going to show you guys my blazer dress on the dress form, and then I'm going to also show you myself in the blazer dress. So let's take a look. Walk with me. Okay, so don't pay attention to all my stuff in the background. So here's my blazer dress, you guys. I need to press a little bit, but this is it, the final product. Happy with how it turned out. I used this gray like suiting fabric that I got from Mood last year, and I really like how it turned out. I used just like a gray button with a little bit of like light gray in it. I thought it looked really nice with this blazer dress. And you can see my sleeves. So here's like that sleeve heading I was telling you about. You can feel it, but it just kind of keeps my sleeve nice and structured and keep it from collapsing. This is the back. So you have the collar here, back seam, just a little lint, and you can see those nice curves that are gonna fit well once you put this on. And then my hem at the bottom, other sleeve, as you can see, and then it's lined on the inside with that black satin that I was telling you about. Bottom hem, you can see this is where some of that slip stitching comes into play. So get your needle and thread ready because you will be doing some slip stitching. But this is my final product and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like on. Okay, you guys, so here's my blazer dress on. I absolutely love it. The fit is just everything. Like I told you guys, I'm in my collar lapel boss season. Pop the collar. I don't know where I'm gonna wear this to, but it's just so cute. It's just so cute, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. Back. And you can see those buttons again that I chose to put on. And I just put like a little bandeau top underneath. You could do a white blouse too if you wanted to, just to freshen it up just a little bit, but I absolutely love it. You see how my shoulders are not collapsing because of that shoulder heading that I put in, the sleeve heading rather, that I put in, so. All right, you guys, well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, I enjoyed making this video for you. If you liked it, give me a thumbs up down below. And if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and do that. Hit that subscribe button so we can continue to hang out together and you guys can continue to catch these fun videos once a week. All right, you guys, well, until next week, I hope you have a wonderful weekend and I will see you later.